What is up, and I welcome each and every one of you back to a brand new Civ 6 or Civilization 6 video. Today we're not going to be doing about any guides or on Deity or anything like that. We're going to be talking about the top 5 ways to make Civ 6 more enjoyable, how to make Civ in general more enjoyable. You can use this guide for Civ 5 as well because, well, I feel like it's more or less the kind of the same game aside from a few key differences. But yeah, these 5 tips are going to be focused on making the game more fun, more enjoyable, because at the end of the day, Civ is just a game, and if you're not having fun, there really is no point in playing it. So without further ado, let's get started with tip number 1. The first tip we have is no barbarians. Now in Civ 6, after the April update, before April, it was bad, but the barbarians were alright. What would happen was, a scout gets to your territory, he gets a big exclamation mark, and he feels the need to go back to his encampment. He goes back there, he says, yo, there's a rich civilization over in this direction, and they'd spot, maybe 3 to 4 of the current era's melee units, maybe a few archers or something like that, a battering ram potentially, and then they would go to town. You did need a military up, but it wasn't too hard if you had a couple of archers and maybe a warrior or two. Now, whenever a scout gets back to the encampment, they're like, damn, let's go make some units that we haven't even researched yet. Ancient Era, they'll send out like 20 musketmen, 5 battering rams, 5 bombards, and maybe even a jet fighter or 2. It is pretty damn insane how bad it's gotten. Going no barbarians does help you out a lot. You still need a military, obviously, but for enemy civs, but at the end of the day, barbarians were just so egregiously overpowered and broken right now. It's absolutely insane. I've scoured the Civ 6 mod marketplace. If there's any mod makers out there watching this video, please do something about the barbarians because it is absolutely insane. It's even worse with the clans game mode. Despite the fact that the barbarian clans game mode is super fun and super interesting, the enemy civs just seem to always say, go attack the player, and then you have to deal with like a consistent stream of barbarians, even more than usual, and they're so advanced with their units that a lot of the time you won't even have the unit because it goes by, city-states go by the most advanced civ player within a certain distance, right? So they'll have, if somebody's close to them and they haven't researched musketmen, they won't spawn musketmen, but barbarians work on the most advanced civilization in the game. So if you're playing this with somebody like Hammurabi as an AI and he ends up getting the boost towards like infantry or something in the ancient era for some reason, guess what? The barbarian is going to start spawning infantry in the ancient era. But a lot of the time, it is just the AI gets a era, maybe 2 eras ahead. But if you do this, no barbarians, it'll be so much more peaceful and so much more enjoyable. I am telling you, no barbarians game mode is probably the best thing you could do to make this game a lot more fun. And for the second tip, we have immortal difficulty and don't beeline for a win. What I mean by that is play on a difficulty lower than what you usually play on. If you always play on Emperor difficulty, go play on King. Don't beeline for a win as well. Pretty much what I'm saying is don't worry about the difficulty and how hard you're making the game. And I don't know, don't worry about the win. Just go ahead and play for whatever. Do whatever you want in the game. Maybe you want to go take out the Aztecs, and maybe after that you do want to get a couple wonders. Maybe you have like you want to make like a really good, scenery. Maybe you want to have like a nice complex of like 20 different wonders. Go ahead and do that. Don't worry about winning the game. Just worry about, doing whatever you want to do for that game, whatever it might be. I feel like a lot of the time in these types of games, myself especially, you always want to go for the win and want to get it in the quickest time possible, and you want to do it as difficult as possible. So maybe, everybody take a step back, maybe just a little bit, right? Just have fun with the game. Just go ahead and who knows, maybe you just want to go ahead, beeline nukes, and nuke every capital city once. You want to call that a win. Maybe you're playing as India or China or something, and you want to get every single religion in your city, so you want to get every single wonder. Go ahead and do that. Just pretty much at this point, have fun, and again, lower the difficulty, because if you're really good at, again, like Emperor, for example, lowering it to King will make things a lot easier, and it'll be a lot more fun, knowing that, okay, I don't have to, like, play to my absolute best. I could just sit back, chill, do whatever the hell I want, and just have fun that way. But yeah, it's tip number 2, lower the difficulty and don't beeline for a win. And for tip number 3, we have epic game speed and using your unique unit. You can even go marathon if you feel like that's better. So pretty much what this is pick a unique unit, whichever one you like, whichever one you have the most intimate relationship with. For me, it would probably be the immortal unique unit. Pick the immortal unique unit, go start in whatever era you want your unique unique unit is in. So if I'm the Australian digger, for example, I'd start in the modern era. If I'm the Persian unique unit, I would start in the classical era. Build that unique unit. You don't have to worry about techs or buildings or walls or anything like that, because building and tech is really takes a lot longer in the epic and marathon game speed modes, and just go to town with whatever unit you want. Movement speed isn't nerfed, so you pretty much have all the combat of the game without actually having to deal with anything like research or having to worry about the enemy coming out with like some super duper advanced sort of unique unit that you have no answer against. So pretty much you're going to be up against horsemen and swordsmen in the classical era with immortals, if we do keep that example, and just have fun. Go take out whoever you want. You could even just be like, make peace, declare war, use Persia, maybe take out everybody, use Alexander even in that era, and just have fun conquering everybody. The other thing you could do to make this game a little more enjoyable is to maybe like not pick anyone with a unique unit in that specific era, and for your enemy AIs, you pick people who do have the unique unit. So for example, if I'm in the classical era, I'd myself play like Poland or something, and I'd go up against Alexander, Rome, Persia, all the people who have great classical era unique units, and I would see if I could try to, maybe not even try to win the game with a domination victory, maybe try to kill as many units as possible. How well do I do against these guys? And just have fun that way. Don't worry if you lose or anything, just worry about I'm gonna kill as many of these guys before they kill me, or something like that. But yeah, epic and marathon game speed, and using either your unique unit or trying to challenge yourself a little bit and taking out an enemy unique unit. And for our penultimate tip, we have pick peaceful AIs and maybe 1 or 2 warmongers. What I mean by that is, if you don't want to have to go to war at all, wars can get a little bit tough when you're like, maybe you're trying to build up an empire, trying to go for the Russian or Menelik, no science campus challenge or anything like that, and then all of a sudden you spawn near like the Aztecs or Alexander or something, and they declare war on you at like turn 5 or something. Maybe just go ahead and pick some peaceful AIs. Maybe you could pick in Sweden, India. I don't know how many other peaceful AIs there are, but maybe build a nice standing force, because any AI will declare war on you when they get the chance, and just have fun. Make it peaceful. Maybe pick somebody like Gilgamesh, get friends with him immediately. The other thing you could do is to add in 1 warmonger AI, and then when that guy inevitably declares war on somebody, you guys could start an emergency against him and sort of have fun that way. I've never actually had a really fun emergency. A lot of the times I'm only starting an emergency and not taking part in it, but maybe do something like that. But having peaceful AIs means you get to be peaceful and do whatever the hell you want all game, and no one is going to do anything. You should be able to make friends with almost all the AIs, quite honestly. Even the Kree is a good one to have, India, Gilgamesh as well. Just have fun with everybody, and try to be friends, try to get as many alliances as possible, and just focus on maybe trying to go for all the victory types at once. You could definitely do that if you don't have to worry about any sort of like early combat after you make friends with everybody. But yeah, do something like that, do something around that level, and maybe you could I don't know, have 1 warmonger in the center, and like I said, he does anything, you guys just dogpile onto him. Maybe have somebody you really hate, like the Aztecs. I don't really like the Aztecs, and just dogpile on him when he does anything stupid. But yeah, it's tip number 4. Let's get on with the final tip, tip number 5. Tip number 5 is my favorite tip in making Civ 6 a lot more enjoyable. It really works with any type of game that you might find too easy. No, it isn't turning up the difficulty. It makes the game more difficult without doing anything gamey, like giving the AI more bonuses or making it immensely harder on you, because you get to pick exactly how much harder it is. That final tip is adding in a specific challenge. Now, there are an immense amount of challenges you could do in Civ. Maybe Chiefdom only, where you can't go towards any other government type, no unique unit, no settling, no capturing cities, 1 city only. You could really do anything. I've done a few of them on my channel. They get a good amount of views. They're probably like one of my most viewed types of videos, quite honestly. But even you personally, if you're not making YouTube videos, doing this I find makes the game a lot more fun, because it just adds in another layer of challenge. You're not going to be getting any sort of, they're not going to get better. The AI on Settler difficulty is the exact same as the AI on Deity, except the AI on Deity gets a 40% bonus towards science, culture, gold. They get a lot of Eurekas early on. They get a production boost towards building new units and new buildings. Doing something like adding in a challenge would allow you to sort of put some constraints on yourself without doing anything gamey that would kind of seem like cheating by giving the AI all these bonuses. The one I would recommend, especially first on, is probably the one city challenge or the no settling challenge. I do recommend no settling a little more. You're only allowed to have one city settled, and you have to go ahead and conquer any other cities. I do think that's a really, really fun challenge, and considering that you do need a couple of cities to start building units, a lot of things to work on and a lot of things to worry about. Another challenge I would obviously recommend is the No Campus Science Challenge. I'd go somebody like Menelek or Russia and have Void Singers to help me out with that, but maybe you have somebody else in mind, another different strategy. That's the best thing about doing challenges. You have to sort of be creative in finding whatever strategy you want to help you win the game. For No Campus, I chose Peter. I went cross-culture dialogue, got a lot of science that way, and won a science victory without building a single campus. You could do the same thing with Menelek. You could do like culture only challenge without building any theater squares or getting any great people. You could do a domination only challenge with damned scouts if you feel the need to. It adds a lot more spice into the game. It adds a lot more fun into the game, especially when you set those challenges yourself, and it's not some arbitrary AI getting a 50% boost towards building walls, and by the time you declare war on them, all other cities are walled up to like the Renaissance era within 5 or 6 turns. They have like crossbows in each one of their cities, and you're sitting there with a couple warriors, a swordsman, a battering ram, and 2 archers saying, how the hell do I do this? This is cheating. I'm gonna go play humankind, which is, it's also a good idea, but still, we're talking about Civ in this video. And that is going to do it. Before we end it off, let me know down below in the comments exactly what tips you would have for making Civ more enjoyable. Maybe something I have no idea about. We'll help each other out down below. But if you have enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, all the stuff YouTubers tell you to do. I am one of them, obviously. But yeah, without further ado, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace. Huge shout out to my members, Cash Christian, Ben Ownby, John Blair, Jackson Perez, Polaris Gaming, Jeff Utzler, Kim Cosmos, and a really special shout out to my Oh My God subscribers, Robert and Overflow of Amenities.